Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome on in. Today we're going to be doing another tutorial video. This is something a lot of you guys asked for on Instagram, a couple of you asked for it on YouTube as well. It's taking me a little bit to get to it, but I'm excited to get to you. I'm going to be showing you guys how to build the Durrr burger from Fortnite. This was actually a special viewer build request on the stream. That's something we do on the first Monday of every month. So if you ever want to get a chance to have me build something really cool just for you like this, make sure you come by, hang out in the stream, and maybe one day I'll build something for you. Before we get started, I actually need to take this guy apart so I can show you guys how to build it because I don't have enough pieces to build two of them. So we're going to do a little fast forward through me dismantling this, and then we'll get building, guys. Let's do it. Alrighty, I think we are finally ready to get started. Things are a little bit messy here. But that's okay, it'll slowly get cleaned up as we get things building. I do actually have Studio open. I'm going to have a file available for you guys to download as well. That way if you want to kind of tear this apart digitally, see how it all comes together, and actually be able to order it directly from BrickinNick, which is super amazing that you can do through Studio as well. There's going to be a link in the description that we can go download it and get that all set up. I do want to make a note before I kind of get things started. A lot of the pieces I'm using here, I kind of grab without thinking too much. Sometimes I'll just use the same color because I have it handy. A lot of these pieces though can easily be substituted for pretty much any color because they're on the interior of the build. And I'll kind of highlight those ones as I'm building it, just so that you guys have an idea of how that all comes together. This build, I started building from top to bottom, but I think just because of the way I have things laid out, I think I'm actually going to go bottom to top. I do want to note some of these sections are going to be a little bit messy as well, but we'll kind of squeeze things together as we go along and get it all connected. So let's start with the bottom bun of our burger. We're actually going to start with the 4x6 plate here and get some curved slopes on there. Just like a real hamburger bun, we want to make sure our build has a nice curve to it. We're using these 2x2 curved slopes all throughout the build on both the top and bottom bun. Give us some nice shaping as well as some tiles. What's really cool about this build is it's been being built in a bunch of different directions. So there's studs going up, studs going down, studs going to the left, right, front, center. I think we're actually building in all 6 directions and even going further with some angled pieces that you'll see a little bit later too. All right, so we've got our bottom done here. Now we're gonna build the 4 kind of edges of the bun. I'm gonna do the 2 long sides first. So I'm going to slide these pieces into my workspace here. Again, you guys will see I'm using some pieces here out of pure necessity. I used some 1x3s, a 1x2, and another 1x3 instead of like a 1x8 or 2 1x4s. You can substitute that for whatever combination kind of works for you. You'll also notice right here I'm going to be leaving 2 studs open, and that is to allow for some space for the tongue to extend. I'll make sure I highlight that for you guys later. Let's do the other side now quickly. Get that all connected up. This side's gonna have all 4 studs covered up. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this side now. And again, I didn't have enough 1x4s in tin, so I did 1x3s and 1x1s. This is far from ideal for what you would want to do for building, but sometimes you just have to based on what you have. I probably could have used maybe another color or just done 1x1s on the outside or something like that, but you just gotta do whatever works, you know? So let me rotate these around a little bit. I'm going to do the 1x3s on top of each other, offset with the 1x1s. You always want to be interlocking when you're doing this kind of stuff, right? If you are substituting, you want to make sure you're still keeping things as strong as possible. So there we go. Another section there. And that makes the 4 edges of the bun. Then we're going to grab these 4 red pieces. These are 1x2 bricks with 2 studs on 2 sides. So these actually allow multiple connection points, which is really great and which is kind of what we need here. So the front one is going to be offset a little bit. Because of the way these extend out, you need to kind of offset things. So this one's going to go in the corner so it doesn't accidentally interfere, because you can see if I had actually tried to put it there, it's not going to sit because the 2 corners of these red pieces are going to be touching. So we're going to do that, get that together there. This one I think goes in the middle, yep. And then this back one is also going to go in the middle. And you can see we've got our nice bottom bun all together here. You can see the bottom's pretty nice and curvy. I like to leave some studs open sometimes. There isn't much value in covering those up, and I think it helps add a little bit of texture to the build. So let's set that aside where we kind of had it before. And now we're gonna get working on kind of the patty and the bottom half of the tongue. So let's see, I'm gonna kind of be weirdly laying things out, and then a lot of the yellow plate that's actually gonna come in on top afterwards is what's gonna connect this all together. Let me separate the tongue out as well, because I'm not gonna be able to really attach that. What we can do is build like the back part of the bun, or the patty I should say, sorry. So we use some reddish brown to do that. And guys, just a word of wisdom here. Always, always, always be super cautious with your reddish brown pieces. These guys have a horrible, horrible track record of breaking very, very easily. Lego has actually addressed this and finally put out a statement a little while ago that they have figured out whatever the problem was with reddish brown, because it was super notorious for just breaking all the time. I've broken over 60 pieces, the majority of which are brown during my live streams on Twitch. So that just gives you an idea of just how brittle these pieces can be. Again, most of them brown. And one night, I think I had broke 7 in almost back to back trying to do a reddish brown build. It was kind of crazy. But thankfully, I have a lot of Lego. I'm usually in decent shape. But for those of you who might not have as much, might want to be a little bit more careful so that you don't lose out on some pieces. And Lego does always like to know as well when you actually break stuff. So feel free to reach out to them and let them know if you did find something that broke. So that way they can kind of track down maybe the batch of the parts and see if they can figure out what might have gone wrong that caused them to break in the first place. We're also doing another little weird thing here. You might be wondering why I have these pieces like this, and it's because the pieces above it, particularly one of these yellow bits, I can't connect into, so that's why I need to have a 1x2 or 2 1x2 plates stacked, the 1x1 and then a tile, so that way there's some space for that tile or for part of this curve slope to rest without interfering with the stud, because there's no allowance for a stud in that spot. This one needs to be facing towards the back, so you can see we're kind of just laying things out as it's going to be for this build. We're going to do the other half of the, what's that, the left side of the patty, I guess it would be. We're also making use of the new style of jumpers, which have a nice little stud holder in the bottom. You can see they're kind of open there. What's great about that is you can actually connect snot pieces to them, just like I did here in the middle. So you can get some cool offsets and have them create a little bit of a smoother transition from the corners, which is always really nice to be able to do. That there, I'm going to connect this. This one's only held on by a single stud, but it's more than enough for it to hold in place. And then we're going to do the front left half. We're going to get back to the tongue afterwards. Don't worry, guys, I haven't forgotten about that. And this one goes like this. Use another cheese slope to help create some curvature along here. Then we got a 1x2 plate there. That's going to connect into a 1x2 green. And I do want to note as well, something kind of to keep in mind. Oops, and I put that on the wrong side. That goes on that side there. A lot of the pieces that I choose for these stuff is actually based on pieces I've gotten off the pick-a-brick wall, which I know I have a large volume of, so it doesn't hurt to take as many of those. You'll see I use a lot of the green 1x2s, a lot of the gray 1x1s. I'm using a bunch of red 1x2 plates. Those are all pieces that have been on the Lego Store pick-a-brick wall, and those are typically, that is typically the cheapest way to get your hands on Lego pieces, so it can be really, really helpful. Okay, let's do up the tongue now. Oh, and actually I forgot, we gotta do this little bit here. This is for on the right side of the tongue, so that goes right there, I think. Or actually, okay, yeah, no, it's gonna go right there. That gap is on purpose for the tongue to fit in. So we used a pretty cool technique for the tongue here, which is we're gonna connect some plates into the sides of these Technic bricks here, which have the little holes on the side. And that's gonna allow us to build outwards and build back to back as well, and create a nice cool shape for the tongue. So actually rest those sideways. Let me start with one side here. And again, I'm using some pieces I know I have bulk of, black 1x1 plates, and dark gray 1x2 plates. I'm gonna do a tile. And then we're using, I believe this color is called dark pink. I always get mixed up for some reason. And you can see we're creating kind of the curved side of the tongue. I hate seeing this. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, sometimes you can actually see the end of the sprue. I don't think the camera's really focusing for you guys, but you can sometimes see the end of this, like where the ejection came out for the mold. And I really hate being able to see that on my build. It's a little bit OCD, but I'm always looking out for those little details. And then this should go like that. This will lock it all together, and then another 1x1 black plate. And what we're gonna do is connect that black plate into the Technic piece. I still don't think this is a legal connection as far as Lego's concerned, but it's a really, really useful one to be able to do things like this. And then we're just gonna kind of repeat the same kind of idea on the other side, just not with the middle portion, because it's a 5 wide area, right? 2 studs wide is equal to 5 plates long, so that's why this will fit in a 2 stud area, because it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plates thick. Again, we're gonna do a tile, make sure this sprue's not sticking out. This one's somewhere else on this piece. It's usually only on tiles you really notice the ejection mold point, or whatever you want to call it, where the sprue pops out. And you can see when we connect this all down, this will make for a nice bottom of the tongue. And this will sit kind of right here and right here. Beautiful. I don't think I can really get it quite connected to that yet. So, or can I? I think I can. Let me see. Let's see how much of this I can get on. So I'm gonna do this one on the back here. This one's gonna connect on the side here. And get the 1x2 there. Maybe I had designed this pretty well that everything gets connected down. Or most of it anyways. Okay, that's gonna just kind of sit in the middle. That's not a big deal. I can go there. Everything's getting on there. And then there are a couple pieces that won't really get properly connected, but I think with the cheese going on top in a second, everything is gonna get nicely locked down. So you can see that's all resting there. A couple pieces are loose, but we're gonna grab the cheese now. And actually, let me rotate this around so it's facing towards you guys. You can kind of see as it starts to come together. We're gonna grab this guy here, and this is gonna go on the very left side, squeezing all of this together. Careful here, squeeze, nice. Okay, there we go. Everything's nicely connected now, beautiful. All right, cool. Looking good. And you know, I'm realizing now I could have done one gray facing outwards, one gray facing this way, just so that this piece isn't as loose, but it should be okay as is. You can always make that change if you wanted to yourself. Let's do the other half of the cheese, which is gonna be just like this. That's why I laid it out like that, so I knew exactly how it was gonna go on. That's gonna go like that, that's gonna go like that. Ooh, okay, you know what? I gotta pull the bottom. Realizing now why I might have done this the other way earlier. Because I need that Technic piece to sit really hard against the yellow. Okay, and I can slide this back in, I should be able to. Admittedly, I didn't think much about how this would come together if I needed to show it for instructions. So certain elements of this build might not be the strongest or smartest designed bits, but there we go. Now it's sitting nicely. And then we're gonna use this next to this guy here. And I just wanted to give the cheese a little bit more of a, oh, and I put that in backwards. Shoot, that's annoying. Okay, I can pop this off though. You can use a brick separator to pop that out, rotate it, and then we're good. See, this dud got in the way. So now if I put this back on, needs to go, I'm gonna use the wedge plate. What's cool is certain wedge plates will actually line up. You can see those lines nicely line up, and now that there's a tile underneath there, I can stick that on, and it just helps give a little bit more shape, like the cheese is kind of melting out of the burger. Wanted to kind of give that effect. All right, next portion of the build, let's get the tongue on first. So this is all part of the tongue assembly. That's what I'm stealing it for. I'm just gonna kind of push these back now that I got some extra space to work with. Don't really want it to be interfering with our building space. It's really awesome to see the like Durrr being so prominent in the new map, Season 9. I think it's featured in Neo Tilted, if I'm not crazy. Admittedly, I haven't actually had a chance to really hop on and play some Season 9 yet. I'm definitely looking forward to doing so. All right, so this is gonna be kind of how the top part of the tongue comes together. You can see we've got these really nice 1x2 modified bricks with a curve. I hate that they're in the modified brick edit. They should be in arches, because they're little arches. We got a tile here, because I think otherwise it'll interfere with something above. And then we actually do, I think this, essentially. Oh wait, am I doing this wrong? I'm trying to remember now. Okay, no, it goes like that, yeah, okay. So it's gonna go like this, and these are gonna get kind of locked in with the 1x2 tiles in dark pink. Right on there, and on there. And then we're gonna do these underneath. The reason I did these ones pink is because you can just see the edge of them. And I'm a little OCD, I don't really like to see pieces that don't necessarily like match color-wise, if I don't have to. So even though it like sucks to use up a really useful piece like this, I like to make use of them like that. And then you'll see this is gonna rest perfectly on top of the tongue. And look how nice of a tongue that makes for. Right, looking pretty good, right? All right, and then we're gonna start getting on the tomato, kind of, because you obviously gotta have a tomato on your Durrr burger. So let's start laying out where everything goes here. This goes right here. Again, we made use of lots of these green bricks. I'm going to attach these into here. This was kind of unnecessary, but it does help make things a little bit stronger. You can connect a like stud into the back of a headlight brick, as these little guys are known. And that can make for a really strong connection, because not only is it connected side by side, and you can see there's some studs here. So it's actually kind of necessary so that this brown headlight brick can be connected to something instead of sitting loosely on top. That's why I did it. So smart. I have my moments anyways. All right, and then I did actually use, I think, red headlight bricks here. In the instructions, they might be brown. Doesn't really matter what color you use. Again, this is all internal, so you won't see any of this. I'm just kind of putting all the connecting pieces in, and then we'll attach all the outer bits afterwards. And then we're gonna do green here. And then again, I'm using gray. Which way is that facing? Chances are it's that way. And then I used red here. This could easily be gray as well though. So again, use whatever you have handy. And let's start getting all this all connected. So I'm gonna figure out what's what here. Okay, this one's gonna come together first. This is gonna be on the right side. So that one goes like this. Let's figure out which one is for the front. That is gonna be, I think, this part here. Yep, a 1x2, a 1x1, and then a 1x1 tile. And that's gonna go right here next to the tongue. Perfect. We've also got a tiny little part to go on that front there. We're gonna do two 1x1 plates and a 1x1 tile. Easy peasy. And then let's do, why not we do the left side? So that goes on, why not? How did I have this set up? It is this part, okay. Yeah, gotcha. So again, I'm using 1x2 plates here. Easily could use a 1x4 though. It's just because I have a bunch of them. Connecting that like that. We're gonna put the tile here, and then that there. It's a nice smooth edge of the tomato, and that connects right onto the side like this, creating for some nice shaping all around. And then we just got to do the last one, and that'll kind of, you know, fill in this space really, really nicely. So we're gonna do, what did I do here? I did 3 of these, 3 1x2s. Again, this could easily be a 1x6. And then I did a 1x3 on the end, a 1x2 there, a 1x2 curve slope on top, and a 1x4 tile. And then we're gonna flip this around so it can go on just like that. And that makes for a pretty nicely shaped tomato. Things are looking pretty good. Cut back a little bit, but I wanted to kind of make sure I showed some more cheese and stuff like that, you know? All right, looking pretty good, right guys? We just got now the first half of the bun, and then we're gonna have to do the very top half of the bun with the eyes, and then we'll be throwing the olive on top. So let's get that going. This section here is a little bit trickier to kind of keep track of, because there was a lot going on, to be honest. Okay, so I think that should really be right here. Let's figure out how this all comes together. So, okay. Where do I want to start here? I'm going to start with the front part of it. So this actually lies down this way. This lies down this way. Again, because I didn't have enough 1x4s, I used 1x3s and 1x1s. So we're going to connect that all together. And that's what's going to connect these bits. And this is going to be what the top part of the bun sits down on top of. And this is to connect some of the outer pieces here. So we're actually doing 2 1x2 stacked as well. Trying to make sure all the different, parts on this have lots of different ways to connect. So making very good use of those snot pieces, or also known as studs not on top pieces, allow us to build in many different directions. And taking advantage of our Lego math, of course, and that this is going to be 2 studs wide. You can see 2 studs wide because it's 5 plates long. All right, and then we're doing 2 1x8s, which I was actually low on. I didn't have enough of these to do quite everything I had wanted to on here. Now we're gonna grab this guy here, and these 2 here, a 1x6 in the middle, 2 1x2 curve slopes on top of that, and then a 1x4 to create the very front of the bun. And I used a 1x4 there just to make sure it was extra smooth. I don't have a lot of those, so you'll see in other parts of the build I'd use 1x2s, and that's because they're not really as visible. It doesn't matter as much. And then we're gonna build, there's 2 little side edges to these as well. So we're gonna do those up. For those I did need a 1x4. I had to use a 1x4 here. There was no other option in terms of really keeping it as strongly connected. Maybe 2 1x2s would have done the trick, but I don't have a lot of those sadly right now. We're gonna do, there is a 1x1 here to help fill in a gap underneath the eye. You'll see that come together a little bit later. But this connects onto the side to help create a nice smooth shape for the bun. And then this goes right here, which also connects to the top of the bun. So we'll see that come together a little bit here. We repeat this part on the other side. Just mirroring it. That's beautiful. And now we've got that part there. And then we're just gonna get the back part connected as well. So this connects into here. This will connect into this part once we finish it. And you can see I was still low on 1x8s. So once again, I did 2 1x3s and a 1x2 in the middle. Parts I have a lot of, they were from the pick-a-brick wall. Some 1x2 curve slopes and 1x2 tiles on top of there. This is gonna connect onto this. And then this, come on, work with me here. This can actually now be connected right onto the burger itself. Boom. Starting to look like a burger, except it's got a giant hole in the top, which we are now going to fill in with the top of the bun. So that part first, this was kind of the core of the top, a 4x4 plate on top of a 4x6 and a 4x4. And then what we get to do is connect all those curve slopes to it. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. The reason that there's a gap here is because the eyes are gonna need to fit in there. We're gonna do these 1x2 modified rail plates, I believe they are called. I really like using these for kind of extending things out a little bit, but not as much as like a plate or a tile would. Just helps add a little bit more transition between like curves and stuff like that. Very, very useful pieces. I wish they did like a flat version of them, but it's not such a big deal having that little ridge there. And then on top, we've got a tile. Again, because this has a sprue ejection point, let me see can you guys see that? I think you can see it just a little bit there, right? There's a tiny little dot on the side, and I hate seeing those. So I always make sure it faces inward on the build so we don't have to look at it. And then we've got a jumper here, as they are called, or a 1x2 modified plate with 1 stud. And that's so that we can tap the olive into there afterwards. All right, and then we've got to build the eyes and some of the stuff that goes underneath this. So if I remember correctly, I believe this goes here like this goes here like this, and we get the 1x2 modified plates with I think they're called like a ball joint holder or something like that. It's what you can click ball joints into. I know there were some 1x2 plates to connect that down. That's gonna connect onto the studs that are on the inside there, and I help hold that up. And all of this stuff here is designed to make sure to have space to accommodate that. Okay. And then we just gotta attach the eyes. The eyes admittedly aren't the strongest built things. The dish gets connected to the ball joint here like this. The eye kind of sort of rests on there, okay? It's a little bit of a loose connection, but it works well enough. And then this will click right into here. And you stick it at about a 45 degree. I tried to use these because I thought they would be good to help add some like rotation and stuff like that. Unfortunately, though, because of just how tight the connection is overall, you don't really have a lot of room to kind of make the eyes look pointed like different directions. Look a little bit more derpy, like the Durrr burger is supposed to be. But I think it still looks pretty good overall, and I know you guys think so too. All right, let's do the other eye now. Come on, get in. There we go. I really do love these new ball joint pieces with the rod on them. Adds a lot of flexibility for connecting little details like this. Great, and then just like we did on the other side, nice little 45. And then what we can do with this is actually compress it all down. Just gotta squeeze a little bit from underneath just because it doesn't have any support there. But you can see that's all nicely connected. Eyes are looking pretty good. And you can see that gap that we had left earlier kind of allows for that piece to fit in there. You can see a little bit from the top, but it's not so bad. Edges are looking nicely lined up. Beautiful. All right, and then last but not least, the olive itself. So I actually left this on there. These guys, I gotta know, guys, when you put one of these, what are called Travis bricks, they're 1x1 modified bricks, so it does on 4 sides. When you put them on a bar like this, they honestly are very hard to get off. So do be aware that you may have a very difficult time getting it off if you put it on there. So if you're gonna do it right, do it once. Because honestly, these are not like, you can see this thing is like, even if I put a ton of force on it, it's really stuck on there. Really stuck on there. So just be aware you may never get these apart again. So make sure you order extra so that you have some extra ones handy, should anything go wrong. And we're gonna slip some dishes over top to help give a little bit of round shape, and just finish it off with some tiles to enclose the sides of the olive. and one by tile on the back to cover that up, even though you don't really see it. I should have put this one on first. There we go. Connect it all together. And then the very last detail, we're gonna stick our olive in our burger. Boom. And there you go, guys. The Durrr burger. Pretty awesome little build. That's another tutorial video from us, guys. Again, the studio file is in there. And don't forget to follow me on Twitch, guys. I built this live on stream in about 4 or 5 hours. And you guys now get to have the benefit of learning how to build it in, you know, just like 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long this will be. So thank you guys so much for checking it out. I hope to catch you on stream. Make sure you follow me on all the social medias too, so you can keep up with all the cool builds we're doing. We have some, at least one very, very exciting build coming up that we've been working on live on stream that I'm really excited for you guys to see. And we're gonna have an awesome time-lapse video for that too. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. And let me know if you guys ever have any ideas for anything else you'd like to see from me. Thank you, and take care, guys. We'll catch you later. Ciao.